Hi gardeners, today we're going to plant butternut squash. It's pretty easy to grow, it's really good for you, it's delicious. If you plant it now, you'll be harvesting it in the fall. And so we're going to start with the same method that we've used to start everything else. You're going to get a little pot and fill it with a little potting soil. Drop your seed in. Remember, the larger the soil, the deeper you plant it. And if you think that these look a little bit like pumpkin seeds, you're right. All squash are from the same family, and so the seeds look almost identical. So I planted this about 4 weeks ago, planted my seed, kept it wet, it started to emerge, I gave it plenty of sun, and now here I've got a great little seedling that's ready to go in the ground now that the weather is nicer. One of the reasons I tell people it's a great idea to start seedlings from seed is that you get to pick the varieties that you want to grow, and you can grow varieties that you won't find in the grocery store. So last fall, I was at the grocery store and they had a squash called honey nut squash, related to butternut. I bought one. It was the best squash I've ever tasted. I went back and I bought another one. The following week, I went back to buy some and they were not carrying them. And when I asked the produce section manager, he said, I don't know that we'll ever get those in again. So I came home, I went online, and I found a seed supplier that provided honey nut squash, and now I'm growing my own so I can control this fall whether I have honey nut squash. So this is a happy little seedling, and these kind of squash, pumpkin or any vining squash like butternut squash, is going to trail, which means it's going to create long vines. Sometimes it's going to create vines so long you can't believe how much space they take up and how fast they grow. They'll grow a foot a day sometimes. So you're going to either need space. So sometimes I plant them in the ground and I let them trail all around my garden on my property. But if you have limited space, you're going to need a trellis to plant them on. So I have another video. If you want to know how to build this trellis, you can check out my trellis video. But you'll need a big, sturdy trellis because these get really big. It looks really innocent and cute in this pot right now, but this is going to be a big plant in your garden. So what you'll do is you'll plant your plant at the base of the trellis, or if you're just going to plant this in your yard at a place where you have a lot of room, plant it and just keep this watered. You'll plant it right in the soil here, all the way up to the first leaves. And then if you have predators in your yard, if you have bunnies or gophers or anything that you think might come chomp this off, you can make a really simple protection from this kind. This is called hardcloth wire, and you can buy this at Morristown Hardware or any of your big box home improvement stores. And all I did here was rolled a piece of it, and I used zip ties on here to make it round. And then you'll put that right over your squash plant like this. You will not need to do this long. And so I say this because if you want to plant many different things and you only have a couple of these, you can use them over and over again, because a predator is only going to be interested in this plant when it's little. Most of these varieties of pumpkin and squash, when they get bigger, they naturally have bristles on the leaves, on the stems, that animals don't like. So when they get big, the animals will leave them alone. So you really only need this on here for the first couple of weeks until it really starts to get large, and then you can take it off and use it for another purpose. Then you're going to want to keep these well watered. Big plants require lots of water, and in further videos I'll teach you how to apply a little fertilizer to them as well. And there are some pests and other issues that you'll have with these, and I'll talk in another video about how to address those. So I think it's really worth growing butternut squash or pumpkins or anything in that family. If you have the room, if you don't have the room, you can trellis them. Really great addition to anyone's backyard garden. Happy gardening.